Imagine your hero, all of you listening, whoever your greatest hero is, that you could train your brain to think like the subconscious mind of your hero. That's the Think Like series.
Wow, it's so good.
I absolutely thought your subconscious was going to say developing the worthiness of being able to attract abundance. Even though that sounds in some ways profound, that is actually so surface level for the subconscious. And it just went straight for the mechanics of swallowing a frequency. Which neither of us saw coming, but is actually what you've been doing naturally this whole time without even knowing it.
What you're seeking is seeking you. If you're seeking it and it's just in you, you most likely have all the codes because it's seeking you.
You don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to know the way, because there is such a powerful, infinite source of wisdom that you have direct connection to. You have to dive deeper into your own self, and it is there waiting for you to support you and love you.
Welcome to the Danette May Show, where you'll receive profound breakthroughs, courage to break old patterns, and live into your soul's purpose. Each week, I will bring you epic guests and live coaching to remind you of your power. You have the ability to achieve extraordinary things, and the time to start is now. Welcome back to the Danette May Show. Today, I'm so excited to have one of my best friends, truly one of my best friends, Grace Smith. So she's not only my best friend, but she's a world-renowned hypnotherapist, and she's founder of Grace Hypnotherapy, which is a school, an app. She has a master's in psychology at Harvard. She has a top Wall Street Journal best-selling author. She's recognized for pioneering accessible, high-impact hypnotherapy through her app and certification school. She works with profound leaders, whether they're professional athletes, founders of global businesses, or even on the political level. She is deeply, deeply educated and can take people in a very trustworthy way deep into their subconscious. And I want to share with you on this episode really about this series that she is dropping called the Think Like series, where she interviewed me in my subconscious mind. It is so profound because even for myself, I think I know certain things or I practice certain things, but I learn every time I work with her about the deep wisdom in my subconscious that it lies within all of us. And so in this episode, we dive into that. We talk the real together. And I can't wait to really explore these other realms that live within all of us today on the Danette May Show. Let's dive right in. Hello. Oh my goodness. It's so good to see you.
Good. How are you?
Oh, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So do you. How was your trip?
So fun.
Yeah, where did you go?
I just went up to visit Sarah at school and just to spoil her for her birthday and have like one-on-one time. And it was just so amazing. It was so fun.
I'm so happy to hear that. She's in
Montana for her her final year of college. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
I know, so good. I am like excited to dive in with you.
Me too. Thanks so much for doing this, love.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do is do a separate intro at the end once you're off, because who knows where this conversation's going to go. And I love to just let it be free. And it's crazy. Today is such a powerful day for connecting with people and powerful messages, because I did not realize. I opened up my calendar and I'm like, I have 5 interviews today.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, well, one's to interview me, but yeah. And I'm like, oh, I thought it was just Grace today, but it's a big day today.
Wow, it is a big day today.
Yeah,
well, I just thought 11/11 would be special, so.
It is special. And so let me ask you, because we are meeting on 11/11. And you are my dear friend, and I'm curious, what do you feel on this particular day? Is there something that you're picking up on, or how did you spend your morning?
So I live in Florida, and we woke up to 40-degree weather, which genuinely happens maybe 2 days out of the year. So the kids were so excited, and it does make things feel a little bit more magical, I think, when there's that radical of a shift in the weather and the temperature. So it's just been a fun, cozy day. We went and got breakfast, and the kids were wearing their pajamas. It felt like, a really magical,
like a family holiday.
Day. Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh, wow. You guys went and got breakfast?
Yeah.
That's really special. I love that. Oh my goodness. I could feel, I usually can feel the magic of a day in the night. So I could
Mm,
feel energy in the night last
yeah.
night. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of aware of this energy. I'm not really sleeping. And then when I woke up, I felt such a huge desire to just write out. And I've written out what I desire or what my heart would love to see in the world within myself many, many times, but it felt called to do it again with even more detail, more clarity. And then I
Mm.
went in and I listened to our recording, actually. I listened
Oh,
to, and I was actually reminded. So, we're going to get into what I'm talking about here in a minute for those of you who are listening. But I went in to listen to a recording that I had done with Grace for her show. And we'll get into that show here in a minute, but I forgotten a lot of that energy you had taken me into. So it was almost like going back into it. And I sat in my Zen den in my, my meditation spot and really just listened and invited you to take me into the animal medicine again, which has been really prevalent for me. And I had forgotten that you had done that the first time, was taking me into animal medicine and the whispers of what the wisdom keepers within the animals are saying.
yeah. That was one of
So
my favorite parts of the session. It's so beautiful. Should I give a little bit of background on how we
yeah,
got
yeah.
there?
But before you do, I always ask everyone, what's your intention for being here today on the Danette May Show? Why did you say yes, and why did you choose to be here today?
Well, I just love spending time with you. And anytime we're together, incredibly magical things happen. And above and beyond that, your Think Like episode on my podcast was so mind-blowingly transformative, which is not surprising at all, but just knowing that it would be didn't take away from the power of it while it was happening. And I can't wait for your audience, because they're the ones who are going to love this the most. They're the ones who are going to actually benefit from this conversation you and I had the most, for them to learn about it and hear about it and benefit from it.
Yeah, and that's part of my intention, so everyone understands why I brought Grace Smith back here on the Danette May Show. She hasn't been featured for a while, but she just launched her own show. I believe it's called Think Like, correct? Think
So
Like?
that's the series. Yeah, the podcast itself is simple. It's just the Grace Smith Show. But the Think Like series is the one that I did with you.
Yeah, and we did this a while ago, and I remember shaking during the meditation, but I wanted to bring her back on to talk about our particular Think Like episode together so that you guys know where to go to really access these incredible, incredible series of people beyond even me and really harness this energy. Grace and I had been talking about this show before she even launched this show, and I've loved this concept so much that it's fun for me to even drop in and listen to these episodes that she does with people that she actually admires or is curious about, and then takes you on a journey into their subconscious mind. So I want to have Grace kind of share a little bit more about this show, because I know that we're going to be talking a lot about this today, and give you guys the link to go and listen to that episode so you can tune in right away to the episode with me, and then you can like go through all of them that she has. But tell me, where did you get this idea? When did it come to you? And then how does this, like, if someone were to go tune in, what do they expect to find?
Absolutely. So, my area of expertise is the subconscious mind. And I always knew if I actually launched a podcast, which is a massive undertaking, as you well know, that I would want to interview the subconscious minds of my guests. And that came to me now almost 5 years ago. And I recorded the first test episode for that 4.5 years ago and loved it. But again, just felt like I need to be able to do this right. I need the right team. I need to understand my format. I have to learn how to ask the right questions in the right sequence to get the most out of this experience. It's also a lengthy process right now. Maybe I'll figure out how to streamline it. But first, you and I chatted at the conscious level because I wanted my audience to understand why I adore you so much and why I believed they should be excited about the prospect of being able to train their subconscious mind to think like yours.
Hey friends, it's Danette. I recently did something wild. I let world-renowned hypnotherapist Grace Smith interview my subconscious mind. And now you can reprogram your subconscious to think the way I do about abundance, health, and success. Start by listening to my guest episode on The Grace Smith Show. where Grace guides me through a deeply transformative hypnosis session, revealing the subconscious foundations that helped grow my company from $700,000 to $40 million in 1 year. Then take the next step with the full Think Like Danette hypnotherapy session inside the Grace Hypnotherapy app and enjoy 10% off as my personal gift to you. Ready for a front row seat into my subconscious mind? Tap the link below to start your journey.
The highest, holiest, best aspects of ourselves, to share that with others. And so we speak at the conscious level first, then I interview your subconscious mind, which takes a while, and then we discuss what just happened at the subconscious level, because that's what's so beautiful about the human experience is for us to integrate. We can't leave it there at the subconscious. We have to bring it up to our conscious awareness in order to actually make use of what we just learned from this deeper spiritual place. So my episodes are running like 2 to 3 hours at a minimum just to record them. And so that's a lot for someone to say yes to. That's a lot for our team to figure out how to edit. But we finally did it. And you were one of my very first guests. And you were one of you might be the very first person other than Bernardo, my husband, who I ever told about the concept. And you lit up and became so animated that it was such a hell yes for me when I saw your reaction to it. And subsequently, what I continue to hear is, wow, I've never heard of that concept. I totally want to listen to it. Like, imagine your hero, all of you listening, whoever your greatest hero is, that you could train your brain to think like the subconscious mind of your hero. That's the Think Like series.
Wow, it's so good. It literally is so good because let's be real, like we bump into humans all the time, the very conscious part of that human, and I have really no interest in the conscious part of the person. I want to know always their soul level, the deep underlayers, the belly that we don't often get to see or hear from, or even learn to think like them, or to feel like them, or to even know what they know, right? And that's such a gift that you have, to be able to access those deeper layers in such a respectful way. And I think I even said that on your show. I imagine I did, because it's not like anyone I would let access these parts of myself. But I respected you and I trusted you, and I knew that you would take me there and the listeners where it was meant to be, and in such a respectful way. So yeah, it was really powerful for me. I remember shaking a lot during that. I don't know why, but I was shaking a lot during the meditation or the hypnosis. Yeah, it was
I think there was a lot of energy.
Yes.
Moving through you, getting unstuck. I mean, obviously so many downloads. And so what Danette and I are doing is I'm going to launch her episode the same day that this episode is launched. So both of our podcasts will put each other's episodes out on the same day.
Great. Do you guys put it out in the morning as well?
Yeah, we'll put it out at the same time you do. So everyone, if you're hearing this and you're like, I can't wait to train my subconscious to think like Danette's subconscious, you can hop over right after this and listen to it. But it was just incredible, Danette. I mean, should I share a little bit about the first part of the recording?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I always found most fascinating is that you embody spirituality. You don't talk about it. It's not performative. You actually live it. Every time you call me, you're out of breath because you're hiking. Like you're going to speak to Mother Nature, and you just got done with a ritual and you're about to go do another one. This is not performative. This is who you are on camera and off camera. It is who you are. And for you to be so deeply spiritual and yet such a successful businesswoman, to have those things be equally true is very, very rare. And I work with a lot of founders. That's really who I primarily support these days. So I've always loved that about you, that there's such a human, business, competitive, athletic side to you that is so human. And then this other part of you that never leaves spirit. I mean, you're just constantly intertwined. Spirit is always speaking to you and through you. So I wanted to talk about this time period in your life where this is, publicly documented. You've spoken about it before, where you had a fantastic year, $700,000 in revenue, followed by 42 million, right? Is that right? The next year?
I can't even believe it, actually.
Just, subtle jump. And I always wanted, when we first became friends, I was fascinated by this because it's not something you hear. Even people with tremendously successful businesses have not taken a leap like the one that you and Craig had that year. And I wanted to understand the spiritual side of it because sure, having the right product to launch and the right product market fit and the right time for social media, whatever, like all those things are great, but they change. Your spiritual evolution to go from someone who was living in their car with just a handful of dollars in your bank account with your two little girls to having that year was fascinating to me from a spiritual perspective. So that is where your Think Like recording begins, where you talk about abundance and seeing it as a frequency and it having its own color and its own sound, and then you swallowed it. Talk about embodying. I mean, is there anything more literal? I mean, truly became one with the frequency of abundance and then taught us in your recording how to do this with all kinds of frequencies, not just abundance. So when I went to ask you that first initial question, that was not at all, how could I, that's not what do politicians give? They're like little snippets of answers that they say to everybody like on every interview,
elevator
right?
pitch.
Right, they're sound bites. Like,
yeah.
That's not a sound bite.
And actually it shocked me too, because I was like, oh, that's how you do it.
Yes. And that's what I love about these episodes. The first test episode I did with Andrew D'Souza almost 5 years ago, he's a client and a friend. He built a company that was valued at $2 billion when he was 36 years old. And I asked him something about like risk taking or trust. I can't even remember what the first initial question was. But he remembered a time where he was flying from India, where he was born, with his mother to the States, and the plane almost crashed. And he'd completely forgotten about it. His conscious mind forgot that happened. And his mother looked him in the eyes as everybody's literally screaming, grabbed his shoulders and said, I love you. I have always loved you. I will always love you. And then the plane steadied. And when we came out of the session, he's like, Grace, I forgot that happened, but that's why I'm not afraid.
Whoa, I have chills all over my neck.
Like, these Think Like episodes are not what you walk around saying to yourself, I know why I can call it abundance. It's what's true, but hasn't even necessarily reached your conscious awareness in this particular way. So it's fascinating for the guests as much as it is for the listener, as much as it is for me. And if I can make them go on and pull a Joe Rogan for 6 or 7 hours, I eventually will, because every answer makes me want to ask 25 more,
Yeah.
questions.
And that's what I love about the work you do and the ability you have, because you are going to a layer, which I actually, if we want to go there into my belief system, whether it's true or not is irrelevant. It's just my belief system is this deep, what we're calling on a very like human level, the subconscious level, I believe is our deeper connection to the spirit realm, which has all the almost like conscious forgotten wisdom that's coursing through us. And so it's infinitely more powerful than anything we could regurgitate consciously. And that's what's so cool about the work you do, is that you are playing in these realms every day, all day, and with really high functioning humans that are doing really incredible things in the world. And so to do this and to have them say yes to doing this series with you is, it's going to be game changing. And so, yeah, it's going to take some time. Like, it's going to be 3 hours, 4 hours. It's going to be a lot of back end, but it's so worth it. And I know that this is just going to be, I know you're kind of, when did you like launch it?
So baby James, my third kiddo, is now 6 months old, and we recorded this in my third trimester. So this was a while ago now. So I kind of soft launched the podcast during my third trimester because I wanted content coming out during maternity leave. But I feel like our episode kind of marks, okay, now we're really here.
Really? So you're
out.
like, okay, now I'm on the other side of this. My
Yes.
baby's 6 months. I'm ready to like just really put
Make
this out
happen.
here.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, 6 months. I'm jumping around, but I just have to say 6 months is my favorite age.
That's so special. I
They're
know.
their personality pops around this time.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, hi. Like, they're so cute. And they actually like have their own emotions and behaviors that you start to like see, and it's like my favorite.
Little personalities, and I
Yeah.
know it's the best. It really is. It's been a very challenging, difficult season since he was born, but not because of him. He's like the easiest part of everything right now, and he's the newborn, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of moving, a lot of just difficult, challenging things, but how wonderful to have that amount of joy to balance it all out. It's been incredible.
Yeah, what a like a beautiful reflection and like physical form of like this newness that's being asked of all of us, right?
Yes.
He's just in physical form of this beautiful newness, this beautiful innocence, this beautiful change, this
Oh,
new way
he's
of being.
we
Yeah.
walked past this beautiful shop in my little town here in Florida yesterday, and they had just put up their Christmas lights. So it was the first time he's ever seen Christmas lights. And my heart just exploded. His eyes were like, you know, he just couldn't believe something so twinkly and beautiful.
Oh, he's gonna love Christmas.
Yes.
The Christmas tree. Oh, how beautiful. I love that. How, okay, I want to get into the show a little bit more, but I sense that I want to know a little bit about because you're doing big things in the world. You're running this podcast, you're running this massive hypnosis app, and you have these high level clients that you work with one on one, and probably even infinitely more things, and you're a mom. How do you balance this within yourself of like, okay, now I need to serve one-on-one client and I just got done changing a diaper or whatever the how do you
Yes.
balance that dichotomy?
I feel so grateful that I started on the path of hypnotherapy when I did, which was over 13 years ago now. Because at this point, I can go from supporting a public figure in the deepest, most fascinating, emotional way and immediately get off the call and change that diaper. And it's just, I feel it's all one big continuous thing. Where I get a little bit tripped up is more of the social media stuff. You know, because you've been with me every step of this. 6 years ago, I pulled the plug on social media completely and never looked back and was so happy to do it and didn't miss it for a second. I'm such a, you call me your turtle, your tortoise. I can go inward and stay there and be so happy.
Yeah. Yes.
I do not even need to pop my head out. I like to do my magical, supportive, spiritual things. I love education and I love teaching, but I can do that in, you know, a webinar once and it continues to teach. But social media I've had to return to for a number of reasons. One, it is the way of the world. And two, I did feel like I have all of this to share. And I do feel a little bit like I'm gatekeeping, which was never my intention. I just didn't want to deal with drama or comparison or doom scrolling. I wanted to stay with my little kids. While they're little, it's so fleeting. And I want to be out in nature and look at my dolphins, and I don't want to be wondering why this person on the internet said this thing about me. So I would say that's where I still have a very kind of, it's still a bumpy ride. It's not smooth yet, where it's like, no, I want to share this. I want to share this in an authentic way. I know this can help people and am effective at communicating this. So I want to and I need to. But then turning that off and going back to being fully present with the kiddos is more of a challenge for me that I'm still working through. The rest of it at this point, it just is like seamless.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, I have insights for you on that, by the way, which we can talk off camera on, because I just like saw something so clear for
Oh,
you.
good.
Yeah, because I think it is your superpower, this turtle ability to go inward. You impact so many people in the way that I think you're meant to versus like this social media way, which I think you can do both without you getting in it, because I think your superpower is not to be in there. And I really respect that you did pull away and were present with your kids and were able to still do your business and serve your clients and do what you wanted to do in the way you wanted to without being like the doom scrolling, like you said, and going in and worrying about those things. Like, I feel like that was such a healthy boundary, to be honest.
It was great. And for a long time, it didn't have any negative
No.
associated to it. And now there are a handful of folks I've seen where I think they utilize this. I mean, you basically have your own television show in someone's pocket if you do it right, where they allow it to be a creative outlet, a helpful outlet. They leave the internet better than they found it.
Yeah.
And it is not controlling their lives, their psyche, their emotional state. And I admire that. And I'm interested in seeing if I can find my own path forward with that. And if I can't, then I won't be on the internet.
Exactly. That is the one thing about you, that you have high integrity on that. Like you're like, if I can, great. If I can't, I'm off.
I'm off, yeah.
Yeah. So going back to our episode together, our series together, we'll go back to this kind of like frequency. Well, it was a color, a sound, and then I swallowed it. Let's talk about that a little bit, because that part really impacted me actually, and I went and did something with it. I think I shared with you personally what I did, and I still do this meditation based off this finding I found out about the truth around abundance and around creating things was through this hypnosis I did with you. I want to talk about that, and then I don't want to forget, I want to talk a little bit about why you brought in animals. So we'll get into, and I don't know if you remember, I didn't remember actually until I went and listened to this prior to us jumping on. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But what surprised you? You mentioned it was like this color, this sound, and swallowing it. What part did you pull from that? And then I'll share what I pulled from that.
If I had to guess, I absolutely thought your subconscious was going to say something along the lines of developing the worthiness of being able to attract abundance, because we know that's important. Mm-hmm. But what I love is that even though that sounds in some ways profound, that is actually so surface level for the subconscious. And it just went straight for the mechanics of swallowing a frequency. Which neither of us saw coming, but is actually what you've been doing naturally this whole time without even knowing it. That was such a wonderful surprise, because it's something that people can learn how to do that I don't think they've ever been told to do or knew they could do. I also loved a visualization where you looked down and the rope was already in your hands. And what was neat is we did this so long ago, and then I worked on your Think Like recording. So this is how it happens for the listeners. You go listen to the podcast recording on the podcast where you see me interviewing Danette, but then the actual Think Like hypnosis recording where you train your own subconscious mind is on our app. So it's like a two-part experience.
So it's a two-part experience. Perfect.
Yeah. So they'll watch me interview you, see where everything came from, and then be able to go apply the actual recording as many times as you want on the app with music and, surround sound, and it's been edited and all those things. So for weeks leading up to working on your recording for our app, I kept seeing a rope in my hands, and I kept feeling this desire to pull my future into the now, and so many things that I've been wanting to experience, to stop putting them out there, stop letting them live out there, but to pull this rope in. And then when I got to working on your Think Like recording for the app, I was like, oh, now I remember why this rope is in my hands, because you taught me to do that. You looked down and this rope was already in your hands. And for you was this symbol of you're never alone. You're always being guided. There is a thread that is pulling you towards your destiny. And all you have to do is trust it and walk forward. And that actually brought you to a farm where there were animals that started speaking to you. So I didn't introduce that.
Oh,
all I said was follow your own thread.
And the animals were speaking to me. I need to go listen to that one. I think I listened to your training.
Yes, you listened to the app.
It's on the app. Yes.
So you all of a sudden were like, okay, I'm leaning against a fence. There's a horse. It reminded me of your childhood, a similar beautiful landscape as to where you kind of grew up. And all of the animals started sharing their wisdom with you. So that's what's so neat is I wasn't like, go see what the animals have to tell you. I was like, follow your own thread that you saw in your own hands. And this is what it brought you to. And then this is what the animals said to you. And this is what you're sharing with everyone else.
You guys, you have to go listen to this because I'm even like, what did the animals tell me? Now I've got to go and listen to this to hear what the animals told me, to be reminded what my subconscious was already sharing with me. Wow. So good. in reflection of what you just said, so she was asking, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were asking me about how did I create what I've created in this lifetime? Like, how did I create this abundance in business and these things? And I had shared the mechanics, basically. It was very mechanical, which shocked both of us, which was my spirit, most likely. And that, from my belief system, it was my spirit talking. My higher connection to source was talking. And basically, I love how I said swallow, because I'm a big food person. I'm a nutritionist by trade, and we can't live without food and water. Our bodies cannot function without food and water. At least we don't know how to do it. Some of us might think that we can swallow the sun, but we're still swallowing the sun. And there's this idea of the alchemy of taking it in as nourishment and letting it infuse, because we are what we eat. We are the chemical processes of what we truly eat. And so this was showing us that you are what you swallow within that frequency is what you become. And so that was really enlightening to me. And so what I ended up doing as soon as that recording was over, I was like, oh, I didn't understand those mechanics until after that. And so I went, and I love sound frequencies. So I closed my eyes and I was like, this vision that I have in my heart, what color is it? And it was a very specific vision, and spirit showed me the color, which it wasn't a color that I would have picked. And so I took that color, and then I was like, what sound goes with that dream? And then I paired them together, right? And then I did it for the next vision. What color is it? What sound? And I created a track where I put those songs together, those frequency sounds. And then when I close my eyes, I listen to it, and I already have the color that goes with the first sound. And I see that visualization, I see that color, and I swallow it with the sound. And then I do it with the next one. So I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing a color associated with it. I'm hearing the sounds, and I'm swallowing it.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And this reminds me, actually, when you and I were in Costa Rica, you were blessing water before you drank it. And so it's interesting how through this process, something that you were already doing, right? Your love of food and making sure that you bless your food, you bless your water, you make sure that it nourishes your body, that it's not going to hurt your beautiful, magnificent, God-given body. You were already doing so many elements of this, but this process allowed you to understand it at the deepest level. And then to go back, and in the last few years, you're studying music and learning how to DJ and bringing this love for music and frequency. I mean, it's amazing because it was all already there, but our conscious, I believe, if you're spiritual and you've done a lot where you can quiet the ego, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but quiet it enough to hear the truth with a capital T, then more of what's in you, more of those seeds are going to be able to shoot out, and you're going to be able to experience more of them at the conscious level. So you were already experiencing a lot of them, but now you got to see the actual bundle of roots.
Yeah, that's true. I went down into the roots, and understood at a deeper level. So good. And now I really have to go listen to this, because I'm so curious what the animals said, because I'm having really profound experiences with animals. And I know you have profound experiences with animals, but they're coming to me in dreams, and they're coming to me in real time. And I have a feeling that other people are having these experiences with animals as well in their maybe private, quiet time. Some animals visiting them, whether it's their dream or in real time. And they're like, okay, the animal's not acting like we would typically say an animal would normally act. And you can just feel it. They're communicating. I feel like this is such a beautiful opportunity for all of us to connect to the wisdom that lives deep in these animal spirits all around us.
I love that so much. And from a conscious world experience, I've recently joined the board, of Save the Chimps. And it's this incredible place. So when you come down to visit next, you have to come. They have 222 chimpanzee residents. It's 40 minutes from where I live in Vero Beach. It's currently the second largest sanctuary for chimpanzees globally. Many of these chimps were used in the space program.
Really? They were used in the space program?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then the next largest demographic were in medical testing. Some of them had never seen blue sky. They'd lived in cages their whole lives. They had, hundreds of biopsies, their babies all taken from them. And then some of them were in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, and some of them were pets. And when chimpanzees turn 7 years old, they go through puberty and they become 7 times stronger than a human man. So they become lethal. And so some of them are just like kept in drained out pools or basements and things like that once the owner doesn't know what to do with what used to be this sweet little chimp who's now very, very strong. So when you go there, these chimpanzees, and we are 98.6% chimp, our DNA as humans. So they are very, very, very close to us genetically. And you look into their eyes and the amount of wisdom in these gorgeous beings, and they have been so mistreated by human beings, and yet so many, and some of them want nothing to do with humans, and who can blame them after everything they've been through? But some of them, the forgiveness they exhibit and the love and the compassion. This one chimp I got to see 2 weeks ago when I brought a wonderful friend and client down to do a tour, Angela, she was just so happy and jumping up and down and smiling and wanting to show us her toys and her blankets. And, you know, it's closed to the public. It's not a zoo. There's nothing performative that they have to do for humans. It's just this wonderful sanctuary where they get to live out their lives on these acres and acres of land on 12 different islands. It's such a magnificent place, but I don't know, and I've always loved animals. You know how much I love animals. And I always said, if I ever truly accomplish my goal of making hypnotherapy mainstream and I move on to my next thing, it'll definitely have to do with animals. I would be like, I have completed my time of helping humans. I am solely focused on animals. But this might be the closest I've ever felt to a species that's not human because of getting to spend time with them and seeing all they've been through and yet how resilient their spirits are. It is profound. And you can follow Save the Chimps too on Instagram and get to know some of their little personalities as well. Wow. It's a magical, magical place.
Oh, man, that I say yes if it is an invite, because my heart, like if I can pour any energy and love into them and like even support, I'm like, yes, please, because I know that would just
They're amazing. You will love it. And even though I say they're closed to the public on a regular basis, there are a couple events annually, like there's a 5K where you can run around the islands and it raises money for the chimps. So there are specific days of the year where if anyone listening is lighting up hearing this and you want to come, check savethechimps.com and check out a couple of those dates. And we'd love to have you come learn more.
Wow, Grace, that is powerful. I could talk to you forever, honestly. I'm like, tell me about the dolphins too. No, but really quick, I want to say that since you do since you work with really interesting, I want to say the word powerful because they have embodied power in this lifetime, clients. I've asked you this before, but I want to ask it here. Is there a common theme that you pick up on all these people that you've had the honor to work with and to be around? Is there something that we need to hear from you that we could take on or to learn from or embody based off what you've witnessed in these incredible humans? You guys, when I'm telling you incredible humans, obviously she never tells me who she's working with and she doesn't divulge any of that, but she works with a lot of global leaders, like true global leaders. And so I want to know, what are you picking up on it with a common thread when you work in their subconscious?
It's such a great question. I want to make a little bit of a distinction between professional athletes and then the rest of the type of folks I support, because they're all operating on an extremely high level in their given field. But I do notice a pretty distinct differentiation.
With an athlete versus like a business owner or someone in politics or something.
Exactly.
Okay, wow, curious.
So we'll start with athletes. The professional athletes I get to work with, first of all, obsession is the understatement of the universe. It was like the first time they ever heard the sound of a club hit a golf ball, the angel chorus began. It was like heaven to their little 6-year-old minds. Total, complete, and utter obsession. And it has to be. And then I also notice sort of a choosing. It's almost like because there was talent there, certainly, not necessarily the most talent, a lot of them developed that, but certainly talent, a gift. So it's like the sport chose them, but then they chose the sport. And the folks who make it to that level have both, because if your parents are pushing you because they saw that gift in you, but you don't choose the sport. And honestly, the other way too. You might choose the sport. And it doesn't mean that if it hasn't chosen you when you're 6, quote unquote, that it's not possible. But I do think sometimes we're given gifts and we ignore them because of our conditioning. And we've all been given gifts. And when you can understand what your gift is and plug into that and say, you have chosen me in this way and I choose you back, I do think that that is an expedited path towards unbelievable experiences. And success has a lot of different definitions. So it doesn't always mean fame and, you know, billions of dollars. It can mean a lot of different things. But I think it is the fastest path to success with the least amount of turbulence. And then these athletes have to overcome a lot of, you know, being seen at the highest level. Obviously, recovery is huge. As soon as a shot doesn't go the way you want it to go, you've got to get back to baseline. And then an obsession with learning how to access flow state as frequently as you can. Wow. So that's kind of over here, which is fun and interesting and very different. Oh, one more thing I'll say about that is also, like, let's say someone wanted to overcome fear of flying. They went through a very scary, turbulent experience and now they're terrified of flying and it's making their world smaller than they want it to be. Through hypnotherapy, with typically a handful of sessions, you can completely rewire that. And then barring having another traumatic flying experience, which would set you back, but now you already know you can fix it, so you just fix it again. Barring a traumatic experience, you just fly the rest of your life and enjoy your expanded life. And it's amazing. With athletes, because every week is different, every team they're playing is different, or every course that they're on is different, or the weather is different, and there's millions of people watching. It's like going on a plane that has a different function of turbulence every week. And so there is no like, oh, fix that next, because now the grass is different, or the surface you're playing on is different, or the fans are completely different, or you know what I mean? And it's all at the highest level with millions of people watching. So it's very interesting because you have to take a short-term view and a long game view with athletes, where it's like, what are we working on this week because you've got a tournament this week or you've got a game this week? But also, what are we turning you into for the duration of your career? Wow. And you've got to do both.
Wow.
It's really fun.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Oof.
So now over here,
yeah,
on the, you know, founder of companies that impact billions of people, public figures whose decision-making impacts billions of people, they are, I don't want this to sound snobby, but it is the sentence that wants to come out of my mouth. So I'm going to say it, but I mean it with love. I don't think this is a negative thing. They're allergic to mediocrity.
Oh, I think that's just the truth.
Yeah, they're allergic to it. They are
allergic. Thinking of that word allergic.
Yeah, they're allergic.
Can't dwell here.
They have a physical reaction to it.
Okay.
You know, it might not be that they're breaking out in hives, but you know, if you become very disoriented because something is instantly upsetting, and so your brain swirls a little bit and you're kind of thrown off kilter, you lose equilibrium a little bit, they have like that reaction. So there's that, which is a great litmus test because they know when something isn't visionary. If it's visionary, it can't be mediocre. They are calling something from the ethers that has never existed in physical reality, and through their own sheer force of will and the magnitude of self-belief and the resources they've cultivated, bringing that thing and making it real and tangible and experienceable by the rest of humanity. It's actual alchemy and magic, even if a lot of them don't, you know, use those words. And so if it's regular, if it's been done, if it's been copied a million times, if it's meh, they will have a physical reaction to like, I can't even touch that or be in the same room with it or be around any of those people who would produce something like that if it's on their team, right? They can't have people working for them who don't have that same sense, or if they do, it's miserable for everybody involved. Wow. So there's that. Awesome. But then there's also the visionary aspect is just knowing so clearly what they're capable of and being very, very, very disappointed when they're not living up to it. And what they're capable of is so much that they do experience that quite a bit, because it's unlikely that you'll stay in that stratosphere 100% of the time.
Totally.
Yeah. And so there is a lot of balancing of I'm not doing enough, even though they're doing more than anyone you've ever heard of in your entire life, or I'm not showing up at my full capacity, or I can do more, I can be more, I can create more. And just this voracious need to be who they came here to be.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's
What do
awesome.
you, is there anything different with like someone in like the leadership role of politics?
It depends. It depends on if they are pursuing it or tangentially involved in it.
Okay.
But I do think on a soul level, and I know that we can go here with your audience, on a soul level, I think for the most part, we knew a bit about what we were choosing to get ourselves into when we came here, and we were given the blueprint codes to be able to unlock what's required to thrive in those situations. Obviously, conditioning, external experiences, fear, illnesses all combat that. And then we've got to learn how to heal, how to transcend, how to do it anyway. And so I think sometimes people are a bit shocked when they're thrown into situations where it's bigger than they even anticipated at first, but they've got the codes within them. And as long as they do the work and double down, they will unlock them regardless of how hard it is.
Oh, I think that was actually one of a really profound statement of basically it reminds me of the Rumi quote. It's like what you're seeking is seeking you. And if you're seeking it and it's just in you, whether it's that's athleticism or business or motherhood or whatever the thing is that you're seeking and desiring, you most likely have all the codes because it's seeking you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a very difficult time is when you're not sure, right? So many fantastic leaders say you have to know exactly what you want, and then you've got to work really hard. You need to have that clarity. And we all go through periods where we're not entirely clear. And I think for visionary founders, for public figures, it's a very difficult time to be in when you're not entirely clear. Because once you're clear, you'll move mountains, you'll just do whatever it takes.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's the unknowing mystery part, which can actually be very difficult for these personalities. And I'm sure so many folks listening here today resonate with this because you're a visionary founder, and so you attract visionary founders. And so, finding not necessarily peace with the unknown and the mystery, because I know that's almost impossible for a visionary founder because they want to be in creation mode. But to just, instead of being worried or confused or frustrated, to just spend as much time being curious as you can. And I think that expedites our way out. You know how Michael Singer talks about samskaras and how the eddies in the river. So it's like if you're going down the river, you're flowing. But every once in a while, something will happen in life where this eddy or this circular motion of the water gets stuck and will just circle and circle and circle. And you can think of that as like a traumatic event. It just got stuck in your body and you just keep looping and looping and looping. That if you get curious about it, before you know it, the eddy or the samskara can start to break up and you start flowing again, as opposed to being like, this needs to end, which just adds more water to the circle.
Wow. So the curiosity is what expands it for you to kind of start to flow with the water going downstream. Yeah. It's being
Because you're
curious.
seeking answers, right? You're seeking wisdom. And I think that comes, if we're talking about an energetic swirl, it literally is coming up through it and therefore breaking it apart.
Yeah. Wow. So many nuggets. So many nuggets. In closing, by the way, guys, for obviously, Grace is one of my favorite people on the planet, and I love chatting with her, and I would love to have her come back because I could just keep going. And I kind of feel like you and I could jam out for a long time, and we probably should at some
Yes.
point, like put a camera and just go. And so, you guys, let us know if you would love that because she is so wise. But beyond that, this is like the codes. These are the things that she's made of, in my opinion. And so I would love to ask more questions. In closing, I want to hear from you, and I want you to imagine, because I ask a lot of people this question, that it is your last time on this earth right now, and you are standing in front of millions of people. You can't even see how far it goes back, and then you have one last thing to share. What is that message?
So I would say there is a universe inside of you, and any time you need solace, comfort, answers, you can go into that universe and ask the questions there. So the reason I love this and the reason I laughed is because I was going to make it very literal, which is there's a universe in your gut, just jump inside of it.
Well, there you
But
go.
I actually see that, this swirling universe there. And I wonder if that's why the gut feeling, I mean, obviously there's a lot of neurons and there's, the gut-brain axis, where that inner knowing, but I actually see it as like a physical universe. There's also this beautiful saying. Did you ever see the movie Stigmata? It's really lovely. It was like a 90s movie about this Catholic phenomenon that happens. But one of the sayings in the movie is, hold a stone over your head, I'm there, break a piece of wood, I'm there. And I believe it's from the Gospel of Thomas. It's a Gnostic gospel. And the concept is, you don't need to enter a church. You don't need to go into a place of worship. Hold a stone over your head, break a piece of wood, and I am there. The wisdom is there. And I think that's the same thing as this universe in your gut, that you don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to know the way, because there is such a powerful, infinite source of wisdom that you have direct connection to, and you don't have to even enter into a separate building to get it. You have to dive deeper into your own self, and it is there waiting for you to support you and love you and guide you. And that's what I would say to millions of people, is enter into your own universe for solace, love, guidance, and support.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for your wisdom and who you are. I'm so grateful to call you a friend, and I'm really excited with everyone else listening to tune into the Think Like series with Grace Smith. And we'll link it in the show notes. But for those of you who are auditory, it is Think Like series with Grace Smith, and her show is the Grace Smith Show, right? The Grace Smith Show, just like the Danette May Show, but the Grace Smith Show. And you guys will link both, everything in the show notes. But thank you so much for being here. I love you dearly, and thanks for letting me be a part of this beautiful series.
Thank you so much, Danette. I love you so, so, so much, and can't wait for everyone to start to train their subconscious to think more like our beloved Danette May.